You can't just be gay anymore, right? You have to be transgender.
It's not cool to be gay anymore. Gay is the new straight. All right, welcome back to the party, everybody. This is Morty, and I'm your host, Lutch, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Let's party. Guys, we've talked so much about Dylan Mulvaney, and we've actually talked a lot about Megyn Kelly recently, but we're going to talk again. But don't worry, we are bringing in Libs of TikTok. I am so amazed that we, with all of this Dylan stuff, we haven't heard from Libs of TikTok on the whole situation, and I am excited. So let's dive right in.
Dylan went silent on Dylan's TikTok and social media for some 3 weeks and is now resurfaced. I mean, the chutzpah is the word, the chutzpah of this person who tried to become famous as a man and failed, but tried in multiple different ways.
Well, I would disagree in the fact that he is famous as a man right now. But I hear what you're saying.
And decided to cross over into our lane, declare himself a girl, walk us through his 365 days of girlhood.
And then he went silent for like a month.
Actually did public appearances talking about what it's like to be a girl and have a period. Made a platform of bringing back the bulge in a girl's bikini.
And I just want to point out something that was pointed out to me by Tim Pool. If you have gender dysphoria, one of the things that you're not going to do is draw attention to the thing that triggers your dysphoria. If you're anorexic, you're not going to make a video about, hey, let's make fat rolls acceptable. Yeah. And Dylan's out here with, let's normalize the bulge. That is not behavior of somebody who has gender dysphoria. That is the behavior of somebody who's trying to get famous.
Girls don't have bulges in their bikini anywhere below the navel, sir. They have bulges above the midline. This person now is lamenting that people only want to talk about the trans thing with Dylan and really just wants to be famous for being Dylan and like not have to talk about gender all the time.
Well, then you should have got famous for being Dylan and not for being trans. You dug this grave. It's time to lie in it.
Here's a little bit of Dylan resurfacing on that.
It's day 9,610 of being a human.
Oh, now we're a human. Now we're a human. I thought we were a girl. We were counting days of girlhood. I guess we've abandoned that. We milked that cow. So now we're just going back to humanity.
I've been offline for a few weeks, and a lot has been said about me, some of which is so far from my truth.
From my truth?
That I was like hearing my name, and I didn't even know who they were talking about sometimes. What I'm struggling with most is that I grew up in a conservative family, and
oh, did your family fail you?
And I'm extremely privileged because they still love me very much. And I grew up in the church. And
of course you grew up in the church. Of course. Of course. This is the funny thing about that. You would expect somebody who grew up in the church to have the values that are the opposite of this person. Now, if you're like me and you grew up in the church and you reject all of that and are now an atheist, despite having a high reverence for Christian values, it makes perfect sense that the church is like, yeah, do whatever you want. This has nothing to do with dogmatic thinking. This has nothing to do with what's written in the Bible. We're just hanging out.
And I still have my faith, which I am really trying to hold on to right now. Haram! But I've always tried to love everyone, even the people that make it really, really hard. And going forward, I want to share parts of myself on here that have nothing to do with my identity.
Again, you were the one who made the whole thing about your days of girlhood. So it's not like it's not like you're out here talking about politics or philosophy or movies or anything like that. And everybody's ignoring you and just like, oh, look at the trans, look at the trans, look at the trans. That's not what's happening. You made your platform about one thing. And now that is losing interest. I want to do other things. Well, if those other things were interesting, then you probably would have gotten a platform from them without having to transition into a girl.
And I don't know if reincarnation is a thing, but in my next life, I would love to be someone non-confrontational and uncontroversial.
You already were that person, and you chose not to be.
God, that sounds nice.
Look at these. Look at Megyn's face. Oh, man. She doesn't seem too happy either. This, if you're not familiar, is Chaya Raichik. I think I'm saying that right. Sorry if I'm not. Chaya Raichik. She is behind the Libs of TikTok Twitter account.
There's just no accountability. It's as if Dylan just surfaced and said, I want to be a woman. Please respect my privacy.
Well, I mean, I guess he's being like a woman in that way. Just kidding. Just kidding.
And the internet piled on Dylan. That's not how this went down. That's not how Dylan got in the public eye. This is a provocateur who intentionally offends and provokes and then sits back and says, my message is all about love.
Mm-hmm. Is it though? Is it though? Come on.
Across Dylan a couple months ago, actually. I might have been one of the first people to post about him. Obviously, he was not as big yet then. But I think there's been a lot of footage that was unearthed about Dylan. And there was some footage from years ago when he was just a gay man.
Are they talking about the Price is Right stuff? If you haven't seen, there's a video of him on the Price is Right acting exactly the way he is, but just as a man. But that didn't get him enough clout. So it's girlhood it is. And
I think that society failed him because I think that he probably is just a gay man. But what they're doing to kids is basically, and to young people, is they're basically erasing gay people because you can't just be gay anymore, right? You have to be transgender.
Mm-hmm. It's not cool to be gay anymore. Gay is the new straight.
And I think that I really just think it's really, really sad. And I think that there are probably a lot of outside forces that did this to him. At the same time, he is an adult now, and what he's doing now is just absolutely disgusting.
And that's what I was going to say, is that I totally will commiserate with the idea that there's a lot of social pressure to be this kind of person. But at the end of the day, we're all responsible for ourselves. And if you can't exist as a person who's true to themselves and get famous off of it, then it makes sense that you're going to do all these crazy things. But like she said, he is an adult, and adults have to take responsibility for what they do. Guys, if you're enjoying this, the party never has to end. You can join the Indian Jesus Discord server. There's a link in the description and the pinned comment. We are raging 24/7, and after every live stream, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, we go over there for a panel discussion. You're not clickety-clacking on your keyboard. You are there with me talking on video if you would like. You don't have to, but come through. It is a lot of fun. See you there.
There was also a video last week where he called for the arrest of people who misgender him. I mean, what he's doing is he's mocking women. As a woman, it's pretty offensive. It's absolutely disgusting. And I'm actually really just sick of him. I'm so sick of him.
Aren't we all?
I try not to give him any attention anymore because I think it's just feeding him at this point. So I called out the Bud Light thing.
And how? Shout out to all the Bud Light boycotters out there.
Bud Light wasn't even the worst of it, though. He was sponsored by Tampax.
Yep.
So he's getting sponsored.
And now Maybelline, right? Is it Maybelline?
Maybelline too, and Ulta.
Ulta, the spa?
The Ulta Beauty thing is too much. Yep. What happened on Ulta Beauty, I will never go into again.
Well, didn't they also have that incident that went viral where there was a person with a penis in the women's bathroom wanging it around, and they were like, well, that's part of our policy. I don't go to those kind of places, but if you do, maybe you should stop.
I am not. Sephora's better than you anyway, so it's not a big sacrifice.
There you go.
But it's absolutely disgusting when they had these two men talking about, weren't they talking about their periods? I mean, it was just absolute absurdity. You don't have a period, you have a penis. The two things ne'er shall meet. Sorry. But that's Ulta Beauty. And then they didn't back down when their customers said, what are you doing? Why are you having two dudes, one of whom had a beard with his long blonde hair and his long fingernails, lecturing women on beauty products and periods? What's happening?
Good question.
It's like, it feels like parody, but it's not. This is the way that our country is going right now.
That's why The Onion is basically irrelevant, because you can't make up satirical headlines that are as ridiculous as the actual real headlines. Shout out to the Babylon Bee. They're doing a little bit better, but like, I'm not even blaming The Onion. None of us could have seen this coming.
Yeah, they were talking all about their girlhoods. That's what it was. Anne hires a bush. Pouches. Meanwhile,
he calls his
they're what?
Barbie pouches.
He calls his whatever's in his underwear. I don't know, his Barbie pouch. It's just like, he just keeps mocking women.
But wait a minute. A pouch would be like a bag or a space or a something like that. But you have a bulge, to use your words. So does that mean you're sticking Barbies up your ass, bro? You sticking Barbies up your ass?
It's just so gross.
What the hell is that? I was thinking about it, now, because they're like, I mean, a woman, as Kelly J. Keane would say, a woman is an adult human female. And these women who decide they're going to transition to man, which is not a thing, who go so far as to actually try to get a phallus built by one of.
For those of you who don't know, a phallus is the politically correct way to say a dick.
These Frankenstein doctors who's willing to do this to a woman and cut up her vagina and cut up her arm and try to make a fake penis. Then
that's how they do it.
Say, well, then she has a penis. So if this person has a penis, it's a man, right? If that's how you if you define a man as somebody with a penis and a woman as somebody with a vagina, then a woman can become a man. No, we have to be clear when we're talking about these things.
Mm-hmm.
A fake vagina is not a vagina. A fake penis is not a penis. They are extremely different things. Let's just take a little wander past the fake hole that a surgeon creates for a woman, one of these fake women. You know what happens? Nothing. You will not bump into a real vulva. You will not bump into ovaries. You will not bump into fallopian tubes. You will not bump into a uterus. They don't exist.
Nope. It's just there for the pleasure of a man who wants to stick it in. Not for your pleasure. You're not getting any pleasure from that. So, I mean, what do you guys think? I do want to move away from talking about Dylan for exactly the reason that Megyn Kelly and Libs TikTok were saying, that we don't want to add fuel to the fire. But I did think it was important, as somebody, like she said, she was maybe the first person that put Dylan on the scene in our awareness. Thanks for that, Chaya. But what do you think about how Dylan has come to fame? Do you think it's legitimate? Do you think he's more of a victim of society, or that he's a perpetrator of twisting the society in the way that it is done? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for partying with us. Once again, this is Morty, and I have been your host, Lutch, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Check us out live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, right into Discord after that, and 24/7. See you there. Until then, peace.